Welcome to Verity Tales, where history comes alive. Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey through the history of China, exploring the legacies of its early rulers and the innovations that shaped not only Chinese civilization but the entire world. Our story begins with Tan, a formidable tribal leader who became the ruler of the Shang kingdom. From 1600 to 1050 BC, the Shang dynasty was the first recorded kingdom in Chinese history. Under Tan's leadership, the Shang dynasty saw numerous astronomical and mathematical breakthroughs. These innovations laid the groundwork for the advancements that would follow in Chinese history. Fast forward to the 6th century BC, we meet Confucius, born in 551 BC in a life marked by poverty. Despite these humble beginnings, Confucius rose to prominence as a politician, philosopher, and educator. In 501 BC, he started his political career as a town governor, gaining recognition for his wisdom and teaching. However, political rivalry forced Confucius into exile in 498 BC. During this time, he continued to share his profound insights with his followers. "Wheresoever you go, go with all your heart, and, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop," are just a few of his many teachings that have endured through the ages. The next significant chapter in China's history is the Qin dynasty, which reigned from 221 to 206 BC. This dynasty not only gave China its name, Qin, pronounced Qin, but also left an indelible mark through monumental projects and reforms. The Qin dynasty undertook the expansion of the northern boundary wall, laying the foundation for what would become the Great Wall of China. They also built the 500-mile straight road across the Zhou mountain range, the first motorway in Asia. At the base of Lishan Mountain, Qin Emperor Zheng constructed a sprawling complex of subterranean halls. This site is renowned for its 13,000 terracotta sculptures of soldiers and horses, a testament to the emperor's ambition and the dynasty's artistic prowess. In 125 BC, the Silk Road was established, a significant milestone in China's history. Zhang Qian, sent on a mission by Emperor Wu, returned after 13 years with detailed maps of the territories he had explored. These maps opened a new chapter of international trade, stretching all the way to Afghanistan. The invention of paper in 105 AD by Cai Luan revolutionized Chinese society. Using a mixture of ground bamboo, hemp, bark, and other materials, Cai Luan created a medium that allowed for the rapid dissemination of knowledge. This innovation enabled the publication of seminal works such as Su Xun's first Chinese dictionary and Sima Qian's first comprehensive history of China. Around 850 AD, Chinese alchemists, while searching for medicinal uses of saltpetre, accidentally created gunpowder by combining it with charcoal and sulfur. This explosive invention found its place in warfare and festive displays, significantly influencing both military strategies and cultural traditions. The Tang dynasty witnessed another transformative invention, the printing press. In 868 AD, the Diamond Sutra, the world's first printed book, was published, followed by calendars and instructional materials, making knowledge more accessible than ever before. In 1260 AD, Kublai Khan, the great-grandson of Genghis Khan, unified China by conquering the Song dynasty, marking the beginning of the Yuan dynasty. His empire didn't stop there, it expanded to include Mongolia, Siberia, and parts of the Middle East and Europe. Kublai Khan introduced paper money, revolutionizing the Chinese economy and facilitating trade across his vast empire. His reign also saw the first Muslims brought to China, enhancing the cultural and religious diversity of the kingdom. The famous Venetian explorer Marco Polo visited Kublai Khan, documenting his travels and providing the West with a glimpse into the splendor of the Yuan dynasty. Despite his successes, Kublai Khan's attempt to conquer Japan ended in failure, thwarted by fierce resistance and natural disasters. International commerce flourished in 1557 under the Ming dynasty. China began exporting more silk and porcelain goods overseas, opening its doors to Europeans for the first time. Chinese merchants also ventured beyond their borders, marking a new era of global trade. In 1662, General Koxinga of the Ming dynasty captured Taiwan from Dutch control. By 1683, Taiwan was annexed by the Qin dynasty, further solidifying Chinese influence in the region. The mid-19th century brought turmoil with the First Opium War, 1840–1842. Great Britain, seeking to expand its trade, invaded China with opium, leading to widespread addiction. The Qin dynasty's attempt to ban the drug triggered military conflict. British forces sealed off Chinese ports and eventually secured Hong Kong through a treaty. From 1851 to 1864, the Taiping Rebellion, led by Hong Xiuquan of the God-worshipping society, wreaked havoc across China. Hong, claiming to be a prophet, seized Nanjing and ruled for 12 years. The rebellion resulted in the deaths of 13 million people, leaving a lasting scar on Chinese history. The Second Opium War, 1856–1860, erupted as Britain and France demanded the legalization of opium. Their forces invaded Guangzhou and advanced into Beijing. The resulting treaty granted the West more economic power and control over Chinese ports, further weakening the Qin dynasty. The First Sino-Japanese War, 1894–1895, saw the Qin dynasty and Japan clashing over Korea. China's defeat led to the loss of regional supremacy and ceded Taiwan to Japan, sparking internal conflicts that persisted for years. In 1899, the Boxer Rebellion erupted. The secret society known as the Harmonious Fist began attacking foreigners. Empress Dowager Cixi supported the Boxers, but the intervention of 8 European nations led to a crushing defeat for China. The subsequent sanctions severely weakened Qin control, marking the beginning of the end for the dynasty. In 1911, the Xinhai Revolution, led by the revolutionary Sun Yat-sen, marked the end of over 2,000 years of imperial rule. Educated in the West, Sun Yat-sen spearheaded the Wuchang Uprising, leading to 15 provinces declaring their independence from the Qin dynasty. This revolutionary wave culminated in the establishment of the Republic of China in 1912, with Sun Yat-sen as its first president. The May 4th movement of 1919 ignited as a protest against the Chinese government's weak response to the Treaty of Versailles. This intellectual and cultural movement laid the groundwork for the formation of the Communist Party of China, CPC, in 1921, aiming to transform Chinese society and politics. In 1927, Nationalist Party leader Chiang Kai-shek ordered a brutal crackdown on communists in Shanghai, an event known as the Shanghai Massacre. This purge unintentionally led to the formation of the opposing Communist Red Army, sowing the seeds of civil war. Chiang Kai-shek rose to the position of head of state and succeeded in unifying China by 1928, defeating warlords and consolidating nationalist control. However, hostilities between the Red Army and the Nationalists erupted in 1931, sparking an 18-year civil war. The Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937–1945, began with Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and escalated dramatically in 1937. The conflict reached a deadlock after Japan captured key cities like Nanjing and Shanghai. The United States' entry into World War II transformed the struggle into a major theater of the global conflict. After Japan's surrender in 1945, Taiwan was once again under Chinese rule. However, in 1947, tensions between Chinese soldiers and Taiwanese residents led to a violent outbreak, prompting Chiang Kai-shek to deploy additional troops to the island. In 1949, after years of brutal civil war, the Communist Party emerged victorious, establishing the People's Republic of China. Chiang Kai-shek retreated to Taiwan with 2 million troops, claiming it as the temporary government of China. Mao Zedong, leader of the Communist Party, became the new leader of China. From 1958 to 1962, Chairman Mao's Great Leap Forward aimed to transform China's agrarian society into an industrial powerhouse through the establishment of communes. However, the plan failed disastrously, leading to widespread famine and the deaths of 56 million people, including 3 million who committed suicide. In 1966, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution to purge China of capitalist and traditional elements, replacing them with Maoist ideology. Schools were closed, and young Chinese were mobilized as Red Guards, brutally attacking those deemed counter-revolutionaries. The decade-long upheaval resulted in the deaths of 1.5 million people and left the country in economic turmoil and under martial rule. In 1972, Richard Nixon made history as the first American president to visit China since the establishment of the People's Republic in 1949. Nixon's meetings with Chairman Mao Zedong and Premier Zhou marked the beginning of a new era in Sino-American relations. They discussed trade, diplomatic relations, and the potential withdrawal of U.S. military forces from Taiwan, setting the stage for future cooperation. On April 5, 1975, Chiang Kai-shek passed away from a heart attack. Having led Taiwan for 26 years, Chiang dedicated his life to legitimizing Taiwan's government and dreaming of reclaiming control over mainland China. His death marked the end of an era for Taiwan. The following year, on September 9, 1976, Mao Zedong died after suffering multiple heart attacks. Mao's death brought an end to the Cultural Revolution, a period marked by political purges, cultural destruction, and economic upheaval. By the time his rule concluded, an estimated 40 million people had perished under his regime. Mao's death led to a power struggle that resulted in the rise of Deng Xiaoping, who displaced the Gang of Four, Mao's inner circle. Deng would go on to lead China for the next 20 years, steering the country towards economic reform and opening it to the global market. In 1989, the world watched as students gathered in Tiananmen Square, demanding democratic reforms, freedom of expression, and freedom of the press. The '89 democracy movement captured global attention, but it ended in tragedy as the Chinese government brutally suppressed the protests. At least 300 protesters were killed, and images of tanks advancing on students remain a haunting symbol of the fight for freedom. Amidst the political upheaval, China embarked on an ambitious infrastructural project. In 1993, construction began on the Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric dam. Planned since the 1920s, this colossal project would flood 1,500 towns and cities, displacing 1.9 million people and submerging 1,200 historical and archaeological sites. Despite the controversies, the dam began operations in 2015, symbolizing China's rapid modernization. On July 1, 1997, at the stroke of midnight, Hong Kong was officially handed over to China after 156 years of British rule. British Prime Minister Tony Blair attended the historic event. In the handover agreement, China pledged to maintain Hong Kong's capitalist economy, a promise that would be scrutinized in the years to come. Fast forward to 2010, China and Taiwan began a new chapter of formal communication with the signing of the Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement. This agreement symbolized a step towards closer economic ties and cooperation. However, the election of Tsai Ing-wen as Taiwan's president in 2016 led to a significant shift. China withdrew from these recent relations, reflecting the complex and often strained dynamics between the two entities. China's rapid economic expansion brought remarkable growth but also raised significant concerns. The leadership under Premier Wen Jiabao and former CCP General Secretary and President Hu Jintao began to worry about the sustainability of resources and the widening disparity between urban and rural regions. In 2005, over 40 million farmers were forcibly relocated, often in the name of economic development, sparking 87,000 protests and riots across the country. Despite strong political constraints and continued rural impoverishment, living conditions and freedoms improved dramatically for many in the PRC. However, the benefits of economic growth were not evenly distributed, leading to ongoing social tensions. In the late 2010s, under the leadership of Xi Jinping, China's Xinjiang region came under international scrutiny. The United States Department of Defense estimated that 3 million Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities were detained in internment camps, often referred to as concentration camps in American media. Established as part of a 2014 anti-terrorism strategy, These camps allegedly indoctrinated Uyghurs and other Muslims from 2017 onwards. Global opposition to these camps grew, and by late 2019, it appeared that many had been closed or repurposed due to their high operational costs. Despite this, Amnesty International reported that arbitrary detentions continued, with detainees being transferred to the official prison system. Journalists visiting former re-education centers in 2022 found many sites empty or converted into other facilities, such as quarantine centers and vocational schools. The legacy of these camps remains a contentious and painful chapter in China's modern history. In late 2019, the discovery of the new coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 in Wuhan, Hubei, sparked a global pandemic. This virus, causing the illness COVID-19, led to unprecedented challenges worldwide, affecting every aspect of life. The pandemic reshaped the world, highlighting the interconnectedness of global health and the urgent need for international cooperation. From the handover of Hong Kong to the global impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, these events have profoundly shaped modern China. Join us next time on Verity Tales as we continue to uncover the stories that shaped our world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating tales from history. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into the fascinating history of China, grab a copy of our detailed book version, link in the description. Packed with rich insights and captivating stories, it's a must-read for history enthusiasts.